Your wife is literally calling you a slut, or women are just calling men who desire to marry multiple wives, take on the responsibility, financial, emotional wise, raising their children, all of this stuff as being sluts. Really? That's what you look at it as, huh?
Warning, viewer discretion is advised. The content, views, and educational material you are about to experience could challenge your belief, trigger strong emotions, and frankly, piss you off. This isn't for everyone. If you're not ready to confront new ideas, or if your feelings bruise easily, this might be the time to click away. Expect to be challenged, to think, and you might even want to scream at the screen. Proceed with caution, and remember, you chose to be here. Let's get it.
Assalamu alaikum, peace. I'm Coach Nazir, one of the founders of Outstanding Personal Relationships, as well as one of the authors of the book, Let's Talk Polygamy Uncensored. If you don't have your copy, get it at letstalkpolygamy.com. I want to focus on today something that men get a little confused. Really two different areas. The first one is permission. Permission. And I want to ask you a question, and depending on how you answer it, that will determine whether or not you should really practice polygyny. The second one is jumping through hoops and altruism and where that eventually leads. So let's start with the latter. Let's talk about altruism. What is altruism? It's doing this thing so you're doing it for these specific reasons, so you feel better, or you're giving, or you're having pity, or whatever this bigger picture thing or idea is. Okay? One, as a man, you do not need any specific reason or explain to anyone why you desire to practice polygyny. First of all, other men already know why. We're men. We desire, we want women. That's like our thing. Hence, cheerleaders for these games and all this type of stuff, or trophy wife, all types of things, right? Women, that's what we desire. So much so, Allah Ta'ala lets us know we have in the Quran. Furthermore, we also know that in Jannah, there's no such thing as monogamy. You can have at least two. So even if you never experience the joy and the benefit of a healthy polygynous relationship in this life, if you make it to Jannah, you make it to paradise, you have it there. Minimally two. Keyword minimally. And even many more than four. Allahu Akbar. Let's make it there first. So I want to just let you know something. When you attempt to be altruistic in explaining the reasons you want to practice polygyny, oh, she's a single mom and needs help, or she's a widow and needs help, or she's a divorcee, or she can't have children, or whatever, and you're explaining this to your initial wife in monogamy, one, it's not going to matter much. Okay, she's still gonna feel a certain type of way. But this may make her feel better, which is generally the reason men try to use these altruistic reasons. And then the clapback usually is, well, you can help her out absolutely without marrying. You can give her money, give her charity, and that's absolutely true. You don't need to be physically intimate to really help somebody else out. We know that, all right? So your altruistic reasons are unnecessary. One, it weakens you as a man. As a man, you know what attractive qualities are? Assertiveness, strength, being able to communicate effectively, having some emotional resilience, being able to do hard things. Important, all right? But if you're going around trying to be soft and soften the blow or this and that, one, it makes you appear weak. Now, do I think you're weak? Actually, polygyny is one of the most difficult and challenging things you can do. And it also happens to be one of the most rewarding in this life. When it comes to legacy, when it comes to building, when it comes to growing as a man, because of what it requires of you. It doesn't require that you have to go to seek what society considers are people who are of lower status and people look down upon in order to make your initial wife feel better and that she's more than. Or something else. They call you a slut, a man slut. Yeah, I know, sounds weird, right? Just the whole fact that women are the one that lead this charge of no shaming anything we do, including being a slut. They call it, oh, you're slut shaming, as though there should be no shame in being a slut. But the reason I say this is because the same letters that are used when describing men say, oh, you're just following your lustful desires. Lust, switch those letters around a little bit. You have another word called slut. Your wife is literally calling you a slut, or women are just calling men who desire to marry multiple wives, take on the responsibility, financial, emotional wise, raising their children, all of this stuff as being sluts. Really? That's what you look at it as, huh? Despite everything that actually goes on in society that promotes that type of lifestyle, when it comes to whether it's online stuff, whether it's the pornography stuff, the escorts, the mistresses, the OF, whatever, all of the stuff that is immoral, and you calling marriage a form of marriage, a form of fulfilling lustful desires? Now, please, you better check yourself. The amount of time you're involved in sexual, intimate activities in marriage, percentage, okay, you got 24 hours a day. What you, 10% a day? 2.4 hours a day? Nah, bruh. Ain't happening. All right. Or, nah, sis, since you call him a slut. I know, switch the letters around, saying this lustful, knuckle-dragging type thing, when the fact of the matter is, we as men cannot control our desires. It is what it is. It's an engine that's in us, and you do not want us to get rid of that. You ever seen animals that get neutered, balls chopped off? How productive they are in society, the things that drive them, lack of ambition that goes forward, that strength, this thing that makes us, this 10 times testosterone that runs through our bodies that runs through yours. Not strong, not something that's attractive. However, that absolutely is a driving factor. Okay, so bruh, taking and throwing your altruistic reasons out the window. You don't need those. Nobody just go around like a fool. Well, I just want something to pound on or something. That's kind of foolish, isn't it? Now with your wife, that might be okay with her in monogamy because something likely attracted you to her. And if you had lustful desires for somebody and the way to fulfill those lusts is to talk to her father, pay a mater, and pray, take care of the family and everything else, oh, that's okay for monogamy. Society sees that as fine. But once you have that covered, then, that needs to be shut off and shut down, supposedly. Imagine transitioning from monogamy to polygamy and it not destroying your family, but instead makes it even stronger. So much so that your wife thanks you for having a conversation with her and the way you went about it as being honorable. Look, I'm Coach Nazir. I work with high performers and professionals by helping them get their shift together because they want to practice polygyny in a healthy way. I help them develop the confidence, the connection, and the courage to do it well while not feeling dismissed, disrespected, and defeated. And I'm personally inviting you to join me in the Polygamy Challenge. This is only for those who want to separate from the mediocre masses and who want to practice polygyny in a healthy way. I look forward to seeing you in the challenge. Assalamu alaikum. Peace. Don't fall for that game, bro. You don't need these altruistic reasons. Throw it out the window. Nor are you a male slut. Now, we can't control our desires, but we can absolutely control our behaviors. That right there is extremely important. Controlling your behaviors, how you fulfill those desires is important. Because if you have them, then you should get married, fulfill them in a lawful way that's honorable, that's best for the family and offspring that may come from that by becoming more than twice the man. So now let's get to the former, the very first thing I want to talk about. That's permission. Seeking permission. Now, as the man, the leader, the imam of your family, the decision lies with you. You're like the CEO of the company. There may be a board of people you may seek shura or seek advice from, and that's fine. But ultimately, you have to be the one to make the decision. But seeking permission is not becoming of a man. It's not becoming of the leader of the family. See, the question that you must ask yourself is, if I do this, and if it's right, will I love it? If I do this and it's wrong, it doesn't work out, can I live with it? That's the only permission that you need. Yes, there's rules and there's regulations to it. There are what's called the measurables, what I call the measurables at least. There's the money and there's the time. There's that justice, fairness, there's that equity, if you will. Then there are the immeasurables. The emotions and all this type of stuff, those are the immeasurables. But the main thing, that fairness and justice require that time and that money. Easy. So far as calculating, it's easy. Polygyny is not easy at all. But it's not about whether or not it's easy. It's about whether it's worth it. And what weakens you as a man, seeking permission for something that you do not have to seek permission for from anyone. Marry 2 or 3 or 4. You fear you cannot do justice. You can't be just, fair and equitable or whatnot. Then 1. Really simple. Now, there's another ayah in the same surah that says men would never, no matter how ardently you desire to do justice, you would never be able to do justice. And this is talking about emotionally. Because if it was talking about anything other than emotionally, then there would be a contradiction in the ayat. And we know there isn't. So with that being said, 1, don't seek permission. Make sure you man up, get yourself together the way you're supposed to be. Number 2, stop with these altruistic reasons. You're sitting there weakening yourself. And as a side note, when you have this conversation with your wife, and I suggest doing it beforehand. Did I do it beforehand? No, that's why I'm suggesting you do it beforehand. Unless you already have someone, then go through the fire and have the conversation with your wife. Now, there are far too many men resorting to things, whether that is doing things that are wrong or bad and harmful for your body, all right, such as drinking. I do have people, generally Muslims don't drink, but there are some people who do drink. But I know that there are people that they'd rather go ahead and drown in their sorrows or drown in their frustrations of not being able to do these things. Again, generally speaking, it's not what we're talking about across the board as Muslims, but the audience is not just comprised of Muslims. But drinking or doing other things to keep their mind off things because they want to do the honorable thing, but we're living in a society that's upside down. They promote all this love is love when it comes to couples that can't even procreate by nature, that is destructive by nature. But when it comes to love is love and polygyny and it's exponential and it grows a nuclear family with a man that is required to become more, oh no, that's a problem. Well, let you know now, don't weaken yourself. Society's going to try to do a whole bunch of that anyway, and likely already has, so much so that you may whisper in your own house when mention the word polygyny or turn the volume down on a Coach Nazir video. Heard that one too. Fact of the matter is, don't weaken yourself. Be the man who's assertive, who's strong, who is attractive. Not only to your wife, but these characteristics are attractive. All right? Be a man, be strong, lead with love and compassion, not as a tyrant. But one thing you must understand is the decision lies with you. Women were not even addressed in the ayat when it comes to it, when it comes to permission and all these other types of things and these restrictions they try to put on it. No, they weren't addressed. All right? Remember that. Be a man, stand up, be strong, be fair, be just, be outstanding. With that being said, I want you to post in the comments if you made it this far in the video. It lets us know that you rock with us. What I want you to do is put do not seek permission. Do not seek permission below in the comments. Let us know you rock with us. And if you haven't already, make sure you register for my next polygamy challenge. Go to polygamychallenge.com. I would love to see you there live, whether that's general admission or VIP, where we help take men who are serious and not just curious to the next level to be able to do it well, and be a part of representation, because representation matters. That being said, I'm Coach Nazir. I help high performers and professionals develop the confidence, connection, and the courage they need to practice polygamy in a healthy way so they don't feel dismissed, disrespected, or defeated by getting their shift together. So if you're ready for that, check the links in the description below. I look forward to talking with you. All right, y'all, I'm out. Assalamu alaikum. Peace.